Afternoon, Bob Trade Genius here. It's the 5th of May. I'm going to go through the charts. The Fed did what they expected, and they tried to tell us that the economy is going to do better here really soon. So they can keep their rate thing on the table and try to lift the banks, and that's where we're going to start. So the XLF was pushed up almost 0.75%, and the only reason is that when the Fed increases interest rates, not only do they get to charge people more money for everything, but they also get free money from you and I so they can put into their pockets through the excess reserves that they get paid for. That Yellen doesn't raise the cost of holding those on them. And that's the only reason. If she said she was going to go ahead and raise interest rates and then do something with those reserves, the financials would tank. But they're in the business of pretend here. So that's what's going on. But if you look at the chart here, it's neutral. We're overbought, and stochastics are kind of still drifting down. I just don't know how much more they can go up. So maybe they can run up a little bit more. But right now they're you can't short them, but I wouldn't buy them. You got SPY here, flat, so stochastics are coming off. I'm expecting May to be a weak month for SPY, and so I went ahead and I wrote some credit spread toward the end of the day here for next week. 141s, 143s, and that would be a pretty good lift to get the market there. And I'm sure there'd be a lot of sellers up there if they ever got anywhere close to there. But stochastics are coming off; they're embedded, and so we'll have to see. Momentum's already overbought. We'll see what the rest of the week gives us, but I'm pretty sure that 141, 143 are probably safe for next Wednesday. GDX held up really well, and then they just really shorted the yen hard to push it down. And so we had a nugget trade on. I told folks to hop off, and good thing we did. It just fell a buck after I told people to sell it. But I just think it's temporary. We'll see the miners start to lift back up again here going into June. Apple, which is amazing, they actually lifted it up probably to fill the gap. And we'll see what happens. Usually Apple falls after the first quarter earnings report, so we'll just see if this was a gap fill, try to help SPY and see if this thing rolling back over again. But if you were looking at this just from a chart standpoint and knew nothing else, is stochastics are starting to weaken a little bit. And when momentum rolls over, I think there'd be a good opportunity to maybe put some puts on Apple. The VIX kind of drifted up all day, kind of ignored the ramp for SPY into flat, and so if you're a betting man, you can try for some VXX calls and see where it takes you. They're running out of ammunition, so you're smashing the yen, smashing the vol, smashing bonds. That's all they have left, and then buying Apple. So they put it all together today, and they got the market to go to flat. So I think they're reaching diminishing returns here. Gold pushed down below the 100-day moving average. As soon as that thing pushes back up over, buy gold. IWM wasn't really buying it today, even though the banks were lifted, and I'm still short. I went ahead and I covered with some sold puts for this Friday to get myself through, but I'm still looking for this thing to keep falling. And like I said, anywhere between 136, 137, it's going to have some support, and then I'll be interested in maybe taking the trade off. We talked about vol. XLE, the oil is trying to find a bottom, and we'll have to see what happens around 47. We bought UCO on that flush, and looking to see if we can get a move back up over 48 for oil. And if it goes below 47, which is pretty strong support, then the oil market's in big trouble. But I'm watching to see whether or not there's going to be a trade here pretty soon on XLE. GDXJ, it just keeps grinding down. Here's Nugget we talked about. This is going to be a good opportunity to go in with Nugget again here pretty soon. And it's been a couple days. It's been pushing up, and it is hammering it back with the yen. But the yen is now starting to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and it's going to run out of its ability to support these activities because it affects oil. XIV didn't play today. It's really a function of the VIX and future worry, and I think it finally caught up with it a little bit today, but that means nothing. I'd love for this thing to crash down so that we have an opportunity to get into it again, but they just keep lifting it every chance they get. Dust, same with Nugget. SLV is coming all the way down to a long-term fib line. Look at that move. That is an unnatural move. That is somebody in there methodically stealing silver from people. And I think you're right at a buy point here. So might be a buy of the year coming up. Same with gold. As soon as gold pops over that 100-day moving average, jump on it. Moss, it's just unbelievable wipeout on this. But, sometimes they wash these things out, especially if this agriculture gets really, really bad. They're going to have to dump potash on these fields to get the corn to ripen fast enough before the frosts. So just watch in the Midwest, if they can't get that corn crop in the ground in the next 3 weeks, they're going to put it in, but then they're going to just overload it with fertilizer to get it to accelerate its growth. And that should lift Mosaic. UNG struggling. We out of our cold or out of our futures. I just closed my credit spread on it for Friday. Call credit spread, and now just sitting in boil puts for 2 weeks out, and I still think it's just going to keep falling as the weather gets a little bit more benign, at least for natural gas use. Real estate now is just a function of the bond market, and it's starting to get oversold here, so you might get a bounce on here as TLT moves back up, as people continue to realize the Fed has no clue and they're just lying about the economy. And we'll see this Friday because we have an earnings report coming up. I mean, not earnings report, employment report, excuse me. Like I said, UCO, we're in at 1635 and looking for a bounce and see if we can make 5% on it. XLK, all about the big tech. AG, when the miners move, we're in it. We're full position right now. Our stop is 770. SLW, just waiting for an opportunity to buy it. ERX, I'm looking to short ERY here pretty soon, but I think I may need to take a little bit of time to oil the bottom here. Not much going on. It looks like it's rolling over a little bit, but there's Amazon in there, so that's going to hold LY up. Oops, there's oil. Oil's getting pretty close to a tradable bottom here, and there's big support at $47. But if it breaks, it's going to 45. So we'll just see if we get a bounce off of that first. That's what I'm counting on. A bounce from where we are now up to close to 50 and then roll back down to 45. And then I just see oil just keep falling all year. Looks like a little bear flag on biotech. And all it did today was reset momentum. Stochastics aren't doing so hot. And so I'm looking for XBI to go down anywhere between 67, 69 area. And then I'll think about shorting some BIS. SH flat. Talked about oil. I wanted to buy SCO puts, but the spreads were just atrocious today. We bought DBA, and what we're going to do differently here with the ags, because they just keep getting whipped around so much and grabbing stops, is, we're just going to stay with the two ETFs, DBA and JJG. And so for us that got in it, I'm going to just go ahead and keep a core position. And what we're going to do is we're going to add two, and then as it goes up, we'll take off half and just keep working our average down and just get positioned, because I think now we're seeing the results of this solar minimum, where you get the really, really long from north to south fronts and really tight, and it's just wrecking havoc with crops. You just can't avoid the crop kills. And I mean, we're all the way into the tropics. Brazil's having problems too. So we need to be positioned, and I'm just tired of getting stopped out. So we're just going to work our averages down, and that's what you'll see on the results page. Over time, as we do it, you'll just keep seeing the buy-in average going down. And like I said, I'm looking for doubles in both these over the next couple years. So got to protect yourself from food price inflation. And when that happens, there's nothing the Fed can do, because they can't debase their currency when people have to import food. It's just going to become absolutely insane. And it'll affect the rest of the world first, and then the Fed will be trapped. Okay, TWM, we talked about IWM already. The dollar pushed it up a little bit. Just amazing. They actually believe the Fed's going to be able to raise rates without collapsing the economy. They can't even get inflation up when they were reducing interest rates. What do you think is going to happen when they increase interest rates and continue to do so? And, the amazing thing about it is they're doing this on purpose. So they have nobody to blame but themselves. Drip, same with ERY. Joe caught his VWAP again, like I said, but I'm sticking with DBA covers these guys. So we're just going to stay put with those from now on. Tired of getting whipped around with these low volume ETFs. Talked about real estate, FXY. This is what they did. They're pushing it down hard as they possibly can to keep this market from collapsing. It's just amazing. They just can't let things be natural. They have that much fear of what would happen if everything could just drift to its value. I mean, it would collapse the entire Western civilization. I mean, that's how bad they did it. Like I said, watching opportunity here for BIS to rise up, and then I'm going to short it. I don't like going along the ultras if I can avoid it. Talked about wheat. Waiting on SILJ. Waiting for Boyle to keep rolling down. JJG moved up as well. Now it's connecting with its 100-day moving average. And once it goes, I think all these things are going to go. And I think it's going to scare the hell out of the Fed when food goes. And sugar pushed up again. It went down. And so we need for it to finish that little cup and handle and move back up closer to 40. Corn reconnected with its 100-day moving average, ready for it to go. Talked about nat gas, the VIX. So we have a 10-year at 2.30. Hardly stuff of bullish economy. The VIX was up today. Had a hard time pushing it down. They tried. Okay, and we talked about XLF already, and I think we're done. So rest of the week, tomorrow, some consolidation, digestion. Friday, employment report, and they'll probably try to lift the market into the weekend. Anyways, Bob from Trade Genius. We're taking a day at a time, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.